Hi, I'm Joe Morrison, founder and CEO of Razor Sharp Consulting and creator of the Donor Finder system. Welcome to the second part of a 9-part video series that will take you through the process of creating a donor funnel, which is a step-by-step system that will help you attract, engage, and convert prospects into donors. In this fairly short training today, we're going to look at your mission activator. This is step 2 in your process and part of the fundamentals that you need to get started in this system. Did you ever see one of those plastic light sticks that you crack, and when those two chemicals inside mix that the stick lights up? Well, that's kind of what we need to do with your mission. We need to activate it so it lights up and attracts your potential donors. So I'd like to spend a minute talking about your mission, specifically your mission statement. Your mission statement is usually a shorter version, a summary of your full mission. Now, I know from experience that there are few activities that are such a waste of time as extensive discussions about what words should be in a mission statement. And so we're not going to go there. We're going to spend our time differently. You should always spend more time looking for opportunities and developing strategies to reach them than you do discussing at length what words should be in your mission statement. When I teach the difference between mission and vision, very often I give an easy formula for a mission statement. I say something like, to accomplish our vision, we do blank for blank people in the blank region. It's simple enough, right? But if we see a mission statement as something we set out to accomplish, that's very different than merely a statement of what we do. So this kind of statement just simply is not enough. A statement of what we do lacks movement, it lacks will, it lacks force. It assumes that we're providing a bland, ongoing service. So we need something different. Now, I'm not going to tell you to change your mission statement. We're just going to accept it for whatever it is right now. But we do need to add something to it, that special activating agent. One day I realized that the reason that traditional formats for mission statements don't work for us in the nonprofit sector is that it's really nothing more than one of those crossovers that the nonprofit world borrowed from the business world. The business world has given us this definition of a mission statement as the picture of what the organization does. And that's fine if you are a business with the goal of self-perpetuation, but not so much so if your reason for being is to create a better community. The definition of an organization that is reaching its potential to change conditions and create the future of our communities is different than the definition of a simple service provider. To simultaneously provide service and change conditions in our communities, an organization's mission must be about accomplishing something. We have to be able to use the word the way the plain English suggests. Not what will you do, but what will you accomplish? For whom? What will you be changing? What will be better and by when? Mission is all about what you will accomplish for your community or the clientele in the short term. What change in behavior will there be? And so your mission is not to do the work of programs, but to actually accomplish some visible change, to see things be different in your field, and to see a change in your clientele, dramatically different in 30 days or a year or in 3 years. And from there, you develop programs that will actually cause those things to happen. So why is this important anyway? Well, because in order to activate your mission and get people to respond to it, you have to show results. That's the secret activating agent that makes your mission light up. You have to show what you've accomplished instead of simply what you do. Do you understand the difference there? In nonprofits, we always talk about what we provide, our programs and our services. But programs and services are weak without implication or transformation. I need to provide this service to somebody so they can get these results without this pain or frustration, so they can do what they really want to do, to become all that they can be. The lack of change in behaviors of your clients will probably also be what your donors' biggest frustrations are, or at least they'll be very close. And knowing this helps take you from anonymous, where nobody knows who you are, to intimate, where all of a sudden everything you do, every ad you run, every landing page you launch, your donors say, hey, that's me. You feel what I feel, and you're doing something about it, right? So it's really important to know your donor first, and then to be able to connect that donor with the results you achieve. That's when you finally make a connection. The Mission Activator framework is a set of 3 forms I've created to guide you through connecting your donors' pains and passions with the results of your programs and services. To start, it's really essential that you document what makes you unique in a very simple way. Chances are you probably already have a system in place that moves your clients from the position they were in to something different by the time they finish your program. Homeless to homeowner, victim to victor, bad health to good health. And I can tell you from experience that so many nonprofit organizations fail to document and sell this system, and then they wonder why their fundraising efforts fail. You must have a signature system, a way of doing things that is unique to you. If you're raising money for 3 programs and a new building, then they all need their own signature system for how they will get things done. And this system will show your donors how you move your clients and your donors by extension from point A to point B, their biggest frustration to their biggest transformation, where they're trying to get to in their lives. That's the results part of the equation. And what I want you to do is just take your notes and think to yourself, okay, what are the 3 main milestones of what we offer in our program? Think about it like this. If you're going to write a book, if you're going to do a speaking gig, if you're going to do a webinar, what are the 3 main topics of content? So if you're a domestic violence agency, you might say, we help people identify, resist, and remove factors leading to violence in their lives. Or if you're a weight loss organization, we help people lose fat, exercise, and create better metabolism. There's always going to be 3 main steps to decide, invest, and grow. There's always 3 steps: build, measure, scale, attract, engage, convert. Even I use it. I want you to think about how you can translate all of the information and the conversations that you're having with donors and the general public into a simple 3-step system that's unique to you or your organization, and write them into your framework. Step 1, step 2, step 3. I promise, if you do this, you'll begin to stick out immediately, because others just aren't doing this. They really aren't. It also helps you to stay focused and craft a consistent message. And that consistent message will really become important when you begin to write emails and create videos for your landing pages, but that's something that we're going to look at in a future step. We'll revisit this form when the time is right, but for now, just write your 3 steps. Now, I want you to think about your clients for just a moment. You've already thought about the 3 steps that you use to move them through your program, but what were they like before they joined your program? What kind of lives did they lead? Where did they live? With whom did they associate? What caused them to want to come into your nonprofit and get your help in the first place? Was there an action, a motivating step, an intervention? What was it that caused them to act? Now, if there's a specific individual, a family, or a circumstance that perfectly illustrates the need for your nonprofit, I want you to think about that person. That's the situation or person that I want you to focus on. What's the story of their life? Specifically, what is the before story of their life? What were they like before they met you? This is your client's point A. Think back for a moment to your donor's point A. Their pains and frustrations are probably some of the same things that might come to mind. They might be different, but they might be similar. Briefly write down some of the things that you think of related to your client. And this need not be a book. Just write a few sentences for now, a small bit of narrative to which you can refer back to when the time comes to begin crafting your emails and your outreach materials. Then I want you to think about your client after they've completed your program. What do they look like now? Where do they live? Who are their friends? What do they do for a living? Really zoom in and consider how they are different from the before picture. This is your client's point B. Once again, write down what life was like for this person after they completed your program. This change in someone's life is really what will connect with your potential donor, because it's a similar change or a dream they have, probably for their own life or someone close to them. And this donor connection is extremely important and one that's missed by most people trying to do fundraising. But if you get this right, you'll be way ahead of the curve. In order to help make this connection, I've created the Donor Connection Credo, which steps you through the creation of your message so you can be sure that your mission or program connects with the donors you're trying to attract. This connection is essential when you're trying to attract potential donors to your cause. And how it works is simple. You answer 3 questions, then you plug that information into the message framework below. Think of it like a jigsaw puzzle. As a matter of fact, the simplest jigsaw puzzle in the world, by the way, because it only has 4 pieces. First, what is your donor's biggest goal or desire related to the clients you serve? Write that down. Second, what's your donor's greatest aspiration or dream related to your mission or clientele? Write that down. Third, what's your donor's biggest pain or frustration related to your mission? And write that down. Now, having the answers to these 3 questions is going to change your world, because finally, you're going to be able to do what all the greatest fundraisers in the world do automatically, and that is connect with your donor. And we're going to take it even one step further in the later training and automate the whole connection and cultivation process so that you can be free to do other things. And I know how liberating that can be. Trust me, I've been there. And what you're doing right now will be well worth it once it's up and running on its own. Now let's look at crafting your actual donor connection credo, which is shown on the bottom half of the framework. This is going to be so simple you won't believe it. The first thing you do is insert a word or phrase from your client before story. Let's call that client A that you've already written. Client story A that you've already written. Okay? We help blank. Then insert a word or phrase from answers number 1, 2, and 3 above. We help client story A achieve due answer number 1, so they can answer number 2 without answer number 3. Now, you might have to do a little bit of wordsmithing here to make the phrase sound correct, and it doesn't necessarily need to follow this format, but just being sure to include all of the elements. Client story A, answer number 1, answer number 2, and answer number 3. And that should be fairly simple enough for you to do. Spend a little time here and get it sounding right. And when you're finished, you'll have your donor connection credo basically in a box. Boom, you're good to go. Now, how exciting is it to know that you can now connect with your potential donors whenever you want using this simple framework? And you don't have to limit it to online fundraising. You can use it, and you should use it in all of your marketing materials, and even when you're having face-to-face meetings with potential donors or anyone interested in your work. You'll be amazed at how this leads them down the path of becoming a donor, because it starts a conversation that can continue long after you're done talking. On its most basic level, your donor connection credo, in concert with your mission statement, is one of the most indispensable tools in your nonprofit arsenal. It serves to tell donors about who you are and what you do, and what things you accomplish before making the decision to contribute. And today's donors aren't going to just give up their money freely. The growth of the online world, though it has its advantages, has also created a donor base that is more suspicious about giving their money to identities online. So your connection credo is meant to enlighten donors and provide them with confidence in their contribution. Showing results builds trust, and trust is essential in fundraising. Just think about that for a moment. Let's say you need to get gas in your car, and it's the middle of the night. Would you stop at the most shady, quiet, out-of-the-way looking location you can find and give your credit card to that scary-looking dude behind the counter? No, you'd find a well-lit brand name location where there's other people and maybe security cameras too. Now, why do you do that? It's a matter of trust. You don't trust the first location. And your donors won't trust you either until you give them a reason to. You see, your donor connection credo does 4 important things to help you build trust. Number 1, it attracts. As a large part of your branding campaign, your nonprofit logo has already done some of the work of bringing people through the doors. And then once there, your mission statement is what should meet them in the lobby, so to speak, and ultimately convince them to take a look around your nonprofit. Your donor connection credo will be what draws them past the lobby. The second thing your credo does is it informs. Once your donors have made it past the lobby, you have to show them around. And your mission statement, which they already saw, is meant to communicate the purpose of your nonprofit, your cause, or your mission, and the people that you serve. And your connection credo shows how you're fulfilling that mission and the principles that your organization upholds. The third thing that your credo does is that it focuses. As donors continue to take the tour of your nonprofit, so to speak, whether this is done through your website, through face-to-face meetings, or through some other venue, they should immediately recognize that the principles being put into action through your staff, through your volunteers, and other donors are consistent with the messages that you've shared with them already. In other words, your achievements, your results, that's really what sells. Your donor connection credo is a guide for your potential donors, a reminder of your goals and the actions and promises you have made to forward your cause. And then finally, your credo will mobilize. When the tour ends, so to speak, and your donors are finished learning about your nonprofit, if your donor connection credo has done its job, then potential donors will be inspired to donate and show their support for your cause because they will trust you, because you're a proven entity by that point. And this is ultimately what you want from them anyway, right? I know it is. You can say it. Your donor connection credo really mobilizes people to take action. So this will complete the second step of the donor finder system. Short and sweet, right? I don't really want to waste your time with needless information that takes you down a path that you don't need to be on and takes forever to complete. I want to get things moving right along wherever possible. Now, not every session will be as short, but this one happens to be. But hopefully I've been able to give you material that you can implement right away and get moving right away. But next up will be the Magic Donor Magnet. And although you don't really need magic to use one, you'll be surprised at how well this magnet works. Having a donor magnet is essential if you really want to cross the finish line when it comes to attracting and engaging potential donors. It's the one thing that you'll create for donors that will encourage them to give you their email in exchange for. So it's super important. But before we do that, I want you to download and complete the Mission Activator framework if you haven't already. Fill that out and file it for future reference because you're going to need it later. And of course, if you want help, feel free to upload your work in the Donor Finder System community and ask for feedback. As always, please voice your concerns or comments in the Donor Finder System community and let me know what you thought about the Mission Activator session. I honor you for taking the time to complete this video training and for learning how to grow your nonprofit. I look forward to our next time together. Bye-bye.